Father, we give you all the glory. You are my rock, my strength and my trust. In you I live and move and have my being. You are my shelter, my peace and my shield. You are my everything. You are worthy to be praised. You are my rock, my strength and my trust. In you I live and move and have my being. You are my shelter, my peace and my shield. You are my everything. You are worthy to be praised. Sweet Jesus, beautiful King, no Father like you, no friend like you. Your love for me is everlasting. No one like you, no one like you. Sweet Jesus, beautiful King, there is no Father like you, no friend like you. Your love for me is everlasting. No one like you, no one like you. You are my rock, my strength, my trust. In you I live and move and have my being. You are my shelter, my peace and my shield. You are my everything. You are worthy to be praised. You are my rock, my strength, my trust. In you I live, I move. You are my shelter, my peace, my shield. You are everything. Sweet Jesus, you are beautiful King. There is no Father like you, no friend like you. Your love is everlasting. No one like you. You are sweet Jesus. Yes, you are, Lord. No Father like you.
All right, so good afternoon, everybody. This is the day the Lord has made. Who rejoice and be glad in it, folks. I really want to thank God that we're live today, and we're going to be talking about issues that actually matter. So I really want to thank you, everyone who is actually on the live program today. So we have folks right here on the show. We already have Adesanya, Kebra, Kofi Martin, Woodbridge, Chinedu. Dimitri Doom, oh, thank you very much. I really appreciate you guys, and God bless you for coming on the program today. Yeah, there's a little bit of each in the background, so we have to quickly take care of some each in the background. And hopefully, the Lord will give us mercy and we'll be able to do the program the way we ought to do it today. All right, so today we're going to be talking about something spectacular, something interesting. But we're not going to be going in depth, okay? We're not going to be going in depth on the topic of discussion today. What we're going to be doing is that we're going to be doing an introduction, all right? Just a kind of a brief, summary of the issue we're going to be taking a look at today. Now, if you remember, just about a couple of days ago, Muslim around the world celebrated what is known as the Maulid Nabi. All right, so that is the birthday of the Prophet of Islam. We know, okay, all over the world that Christians are usually the one celebrating the birthday of Jesus Christ. But then, for some time now, for some years, the Muslims have been celebrating, the birthday of the Prophet of Islam. All right, so now I need to let you know that it's not all Muslims that do this. There are some certain Muslims that actually believe that Maulud Nabi is actually bid'ah. They believe bid'ah means that it's not something that is original to the Prophet, and it's not something that is in the Sunnah. They believe that this is actually an innovation. Okay, so they believe that they are not supposed to do this. In fact, some consider it to be a sin. But gradually, as we begin to move day by day, we discover that a lot of Muslims are now celebrating this particular celebration. And in fact, there are some Muslims that are seen on social media who had actually kicked against this celebration before, but today they're actually going into this. I mean, they've also joined, the I don't want to say bad wango. They've joined, the other group of Muslims, and they are now celebrating the birthday of the Prophet of Islam. And so the Muslims tell us from this particular thing, they tell us that yeah, it's worthy to be celebrated because it's the best of mankind. Okay, so if you're talking about somebody that is the best among the creation of Allah, we're talking about the Prophet of Islam, which is actually Muhammad. To believe this person is the best of all mankind and is the best example for mankind. All right, so they hold Muhammad in the highest esteem. So today we're going to be taking a look at a couple of things in the life of the Prophet. We're going to be taking a look at his biography, his just short biography. And then we're going to be taking a look at the first revelation that he received, the revelation that the Prophet of Islam received. Basically, we're going to be taking a look at those two things. We're going to dwell on them very well. And then we're going to be entertaining questions as well. It's really very important because I know that it's not every Christian that actually understand, the surrounding events as to the revelation of the Prophet of Islam, how he became a prophet and all of that. So we're going to be unveiling that today. All right. So really want to thank everyone who's been on the show with us right now. And then Dimitri Doom is actually saying there's error in the title. Okay, who was Muhammad? All right, that's actually what we have as the title. So I don't know where the error is coming from. So, but whatever the error might be, we're going to correct that immediately we're done with the program. All right, so we're going to be taking a look at who was Muhammad. Okay, so that's actually what we're taking a look at today. All right, folks. So let's go right into the program because we don't have much time. All right. And hopefully, again, I hope that we're going to be able to finish this program. I'm saying this because of the technical challenge I'm having right now. But I'm believing God will give us grace to be able to finish this. But if in between you guys don't see me again, just understand that is the technical challenge that we're talking about. All right. So let's go right into this. Let's begin to unveil some of these things. Now, some of you might be asking the question for the life of me. For the life of you, why are we talking about this? Why should we discuss or be talking about who Muhammad was? Okay, so we're looking at this for two basic reasons. All right, the reason why we're taking a look at this is for two basic reasons. So number one is that Muslims have just celebrated the Maulid Nabi some days ago, and as a way of honoring the Prophet of Islam, Muhammad, as the best example of mankind. They did this as a way of honoring the Prophet, and they also believe that Muhammad is the best example for mankind. All right, so he is the best of mankind. In fact, so I've seen some Muslims saying that it was because of Muhammad that Allah created the heavens and the earth. Can you imagine that? That is because of Muhammad. All right, that Allah created all of the things that you're seeing today. Okay, so it's actually fascinating what Muslims say about Muhammad. All right, so we're going to be taking a look at this issue. The reason why we're talking about this is because number one, they just finished celebrating the Maulid Nabi, and we want to also dedicate this program to the Prophet. We want to take a look at one of the things about him, a short biography, and then we'll take a look at the revelation as well, how the whole thing began. All right, so that's the very first reason why we're doing this particular show. Now, the second reason why we're doing this particular show is that we want to give Christians a brief understanding of who Muhammad was. Okay, so like I said, I understand that it's not every Christian that understand who the Prophet of Islam is. It's not every Christian that have an understanding of how he began his prophetic career and all of that. So we need to actually put that in consideration. Now, sometimes I used to think that the things that I know about Islam, the things that I know about the Prophet of Islam, are the things that most of the Christians know. But I've come to discover that most of the time when we're talking about the Prophet of Islam, we're talking about, the surrounding things concerning his revelation and some of the things that he had to do, the sayings, the action, and all of that. I discovered that a lot of Christians are not even aware of who this particular man is, or who this prophet in quote is. So it's very important as Christians, at least we have some understanding, because this really help us. Some Christians actually believe that Muhammad is a prophet of God sent by the same God, okay, the God of the patriarchs in the Old Testament. So they believe that it was Yahweh that sent Muhammad. You see, so it's very important that we understand some of these things, because it will help us to be able to appreciate some of the things that we have in the Bible in comparison to the things that are written in the Quran. So it's really very important that we actually have that understanding. Now, in this particular program episode, like I said, it's going to be a brief introduction, okay, concerning the man. We're going to be taking a look at two things. Basic things. We're going to be taking a look at two things. All right. The very first one is the biography of the man. Okay. We're going to be taking a look at the short biography of the man. This is not exhaustive. It's not going to be comprehensive. No. We're just going to be taking a look at a couple of things that you should know as, a Christian, just to get to know about this man. All right. Now, the second thing we're also going to be taking a look at is the revelation of the prophet. All right. The revelation of the prophet, how the whole thing began. Now, we're not going to be going in depth into some of the examples of some of the things that he has received as revelation, or some of his thoughts and all of that. But we are going to be taking a look at just the beginning of the revelation. And as we begin to explore some of these things, we begin to understand the reason why this is very important, because this is the foundation. This is the very foundation of the whole thing that happens in the Quran. If you're taking a look at the Quran as a book, you will not understand why the Quran is the way it is if you don't understand how the Prophet of Islam received his revelation. All right. And I know by the time we begin to get into this, it will be mind-blowing. I mean, it is going to be mind-blowing for some of you. All right. How the whole thing started is going to be mind-blowing to you. All right. So let's just get started into that. Now, we need to understand again. Now, before we begin to get into the revelation, we need to understand the basic thing about the life of the Prophet of Islam. I know that, yes, because we are Christians, for a lot of us, we don't talk about this in our churches. We don't talk about this in the Sunday school. We don't talk about this in the Bible study. But you see, it's really very important that we talk about this, because there is no way you can effectively reach out to a Muslim. If you're reaching out to a Muslim, there is no way you can reach out to him without understanding the man behind the book. You need to understand the man behind the book. Apart from taking a look at the book itself, you need to understand the man behind the book, the man that a spirit actually used in putting this content, the book together. We need to understand who the man is. So we're going to be starting right from there, and then we'll move into how the revelation also started. All right. Okay, so let's move on. Okay, Muhammad. We're talking about a short biography of Muhammad right now. Okay, so these are basic things about Muhammad. So Muhammad was born in 570 AD. All right. Okay. So of course we're talking about hundreds of years. Okay. After the death, the burial, and resurrection of our Lord and Savior Jesus Christ, his father Abdullah died before he was born, and while he was born, and while he was about 7 years of age, he lost his mother. All right. So now you need to understand some certain things in the life of the prophet. It was not an easy thing as a man. It was not an easy thing for him growing up. Okay. So imagine somebody who before he was born, he already lost his father, and then about 7 years of age, getting to 7, he lost his mother. So very, very early in life, Muhammad already became an orphan. Okay, so it's not really an easy thing for him growing up as a child. All right, so we need to actually put that in mind also. So by the time you begin to understand some of these things, okay, begin to understand the life of the man, you see a reflection of some of those things in the Quran as well. But then let's move on so that we don't take much of the time expanding on this. All right, okay. So now we said that at the age of he was born before. His father died before he was born, and then at the age of 7, getting to 7, his mother died. Now, at that point in time, his life was actually taken over, meaning that his whole essence, his whole being, all right, his person was taken over by his grandfather, and this is known as Abdul Muttalib, all right. So the grandfather was the one that started taking over, his affairs. He was the one taking care of him, and actually, when Muhammad was 8 years old, this man also died. So it was actually a very tough thing for the prophet. He was being taken care of, initially by one person, and when the person dies, another person actually take over him. And as we can see, at the point in time, the grandfather died also, and somebody else took over him as well. So you can see that it was actually not a very smooth, childhood that he had. Okay, and this is expected of so many people in the world today. I mean, there are so many people that actually lost their parent at a very tender age. In fact, some do not even get to know their parent. Why? Because probably the parent might have died, or probably the parent that actually put them in a particular place, and they run away. Especially when we're talking about children that they put by the roadside and all of those things. So it wasn't really an easy thing, for you know for Mohammed to grow up as a young man. Okay, so I'm seeing some questions right there, but then we'll begin to talk about those questions as we get to the time for question and answer. All right. Okay, so moving on. Okay, so he was taken over by Abu Talib, his uncle, and then Muhammad grew up to be an hardworking person and also a trustworthy person as well. And I'm talking according to the history provided to us right now. We're talking about the history that the Muslim, scholars have actually provided to us. That Muhammad grew up to be known as a trustworthy person. They used to call him the Alamin, okay, the person that's actually trustworthy. And they will tell you that if Muhammad kept something for you for 5 years, 10 years, you can be rest assured that that thing will be there. Is such a very trustworthy person. Now, at the age of 25, Muhammad was married, by a 40-year-old powerful widow known as Khadija. All right. Now, Khadija is a very, very powerful woman right then during the time of, the Prophet of Islam. Khadija is known to be a powerful person, because he owns a lot of what you would call company today. All right, very influential lady. We're talking about somebody that's not, you see, in the Arabian period, women are not usually very much respected. Okay, they are not very much respected, but this particular one is powerful. Okay, influentially, politically, this woman is powerful. All right, and then you see, as Muhammad was doing his business and all of that, he got to work with Khadija, okay, as a businesswoman, and Khadija got interested in Muhammad and he proposed to Muhammad and say, Muhammad, I'm interested in you. And before you know it, two of them got married. Muhammad was about 25 years of age then, and Khadija was about 40 years old of age. Yeah, within that period in time. Okay, so that was how old, two of them were when the marriage actually took place, except if I'm missing something right here. All right, so but then the marriage actually took place and then things were going on smoothly, and then something actually happened later. Okay, so we're going to be talking about that when we're talking about the revelation, but then let's just talk about the brief history of some things that happened and then we'll move over. Like I said, this is not going to be exhaustive. We're not going to be talking about something that covers the whole life of the prophet. We're not taking a look at the whole life of the prophet. Okay, that's not what we're doing. We want to just take a look at short things that you need to know about him. If you want to read more things about him, I could recommend a couple of resources for you to read, on the life of the prophet. All right, so let's move further. Okay, so we said that Khadija married Muhammad, okay, and then after the marriage and things move on, okay, and then also moving on, excuse me, Muhammad at the age of 40, has by 16 received his first revelation, all right, that is when the prophetic career actually started, okay, so Muhammad started receiving revelation at that point in time. Now, moving further, after much persecution, because when he started receiving his revelation, his people were actually antagonistic of him. They were saying, hey, what is this guy bringing? Because he was preaching some certain things that actually contradicts, the norms of the day. All right. So they were like, hey, what is going on with you? What are you actually preaching? So a lot of persecution arose, okay, against, the prophet of Islam and all of that. And because, at the point in time, the persecution was becoming too much. At the point in time, some of his followers were actually afraid for their lives. They were like, what is actually going on? Is this the end of our life? And all of that. But then because the persecution was so severe, was so much, he had to actually move on from where he was born. Okay. He moved from Mecca to Medina. All right. Now, of course, it wasn't Medina at that point in time. That place was actually Yatrib. But when the prophet got there, he renamed that place, Medina. All right. That was because the people were pressurizing him, they were persecuting him, because the message he was given to them was not the message that they wanted to hear. All right. They don't want to hear that message. So because of that, he had to move from where he was, okay, from Mecca, he moved to Yatrib, which is later known as Medina, or called Medina, even up to today. Now, by the age of by 632 AD, Muhammad actually died. Okay, so that was when the prophet died. So this is just a concise a concise biography of the prophet. Now, like I said, a lot of things are in between. I didn't mention all of those things because this is not supposed to be exhaustive, We're not looking at the details of the life of the prophet. Like I said, there are books that actually talk about the life of the prophet, the battle he fought, how the persecution that he was experiencing arose, what happened when he got to Medina. All of those things are there, but then we're not going to be talking about all of that today. Just want to give you something concise, something very brief, and then we're going to move into the revelation. All right. So now, with that said, then we can actually move to talk about the revelation of the prophet. Now, I need to let you know that as Christians, it's very, very important that the Quran that you see today, the one that you hold in your hands today, whichever one that you're holding in your hands today, either Arabic or English, but the Quran that you see today did not just fall from heaven, all right? It did not fall from the sky. The Quran was actually revealed to the Prophet of Islam, all right? Were revealed to him, and then according to that, I'm saying this according to the Islamic tradition. All right, so all of the things that I'm saying right now is according to Islamic tradition. They are the one that are actually saying this. Okay, so the prophet of Islam received the revelation. And how did he receive the revelation? The revelation was actually coming through Angel Gabriel. That's what we're told, that Angel Gabriel was the one that will actually come to the prophet of Islam, begin to talk to him, begin to give him the revelation, begin to tell him all of those things that Allah wanted him to hear. So understand this now. This is the sequence. Allah gives the revelation to Angel Gabriel. Angel Gabriel, takes that revelation and they deliver it to Muhammad. All right. So it's not like Allah was the one talking to Muhammad directly. No, that's not the case. Allah gives the revelation to Angel Gabriel. Angel Gabriel actually takes that revelation and give it to Muhammad. All right. So that's the difference between the patriarchs of old, when God talks to them directly and begin to give them information and all of that, and that of Muhammad. Okay, so that is just the basic understanding. So I want you to understand that so we could actually move further. All right. So understanding that, then we need to understand, okay, the first revelation Muhammad received, and how did this revelation began in the very first place. Now, according to some Muslim scholar, okay, they said that the first revelation, they noted that the first revelation, or claim that the first revelation that Muhammad received was actually in Quran chapter 96, Surah Al-Alaq, all right? In Quran chapter 96, that is actually the first revelation that he received. So we're going to be reading this verse of the Quran. All right, we're going to be reading this verse of the Quran, and then after reading this verse of the Quran, we're not going to be reading the background, okay, the background information of how he actually received this revelation. It's like I said, this is going to be mind blowing to a lot of you, especially for those who have not actually been studying the life of the prophet or have not really known so much about this. So, like I said, according to the Muslims, this is actually the first, few verses that was actually revealed to the prophet of Islam. And just to read verse 1 to 6 of this particular chapter of this Quran is actually there. We might not be able to read that because of time, but then we need to understand that this is the very first that was actually revealed to him. Now, the question you might be asking yourself is this as a person. So what is the process of the revelation? How did the revelation get to the prophet? I mean, what is it that happened that makes it unique for the revelation to come to the prophet? What is the process? Okay, how did it happen? Is it that Muhammad, I've told you guys that the angel Gabriel is the one that will bring it to the prophet of Islam. But then how vividly did this happen, especially when we received the first revelation? How did it happen? Okay. Now, at this point, I need to say this. Now, the truth of the matter is that the Muslims do not just believe in the Quran alone, all right? So the Muslims believe in the Quran, okay? So they believe in the Quran, they believe in the Hadith. This is the Hadith literature. The Hadith is actually the saints, document the saints and the doings of the Prophet, the actions of the Prophet and the saints of the Prophet. So apart from that also, they also believe in, the consensus, all right? The ijma, the consensus of the ulama, the scholars, all right? So the scholars also had some certain, things that they actually talk about, like rule, regulation that are not really found in the Quran and the Hadith. But you see, they thought about this and they say, this is the ruling concerning this particular thing. Okay, so for a Muslim, they actually believe in the Quran and in the Hadith. These are the two primary books that a Sunni Muslim will believe in, all right? A Sunni Muslim believe in the Quran and in the hadith. Okay, so there are some Shia that also believe in some other hadith as well, but then this is basically what the Muslim believe. That is the authority that they have concerning the religion of Islam. They believe in the Quran and they believe in the hadith. All right, so now moving further, the Quran does not give us the details of how this revelation was given to the prophet of Islam. Okay, the Quran does not do that. So if you want to see the process of the revelation, how the revelation came to the prophet of Islam, then you have to go to the hadith. By the way, there are different types of hadith collection, or different types of hadith, so to say. We have the Sahih Bukhari, we have the Sahih Muslim, we have Abu Dawood, and you have a lot of them like that. Okay, so you have these different types of hadith. Okay, so but today we're going to be taking a look at the hadith, the Sahih Buhari, and the Sahih Buhari alone is in 9 volumes. All right, 9 volumes. Okay, so we're going to be taking a look at the process of the revelation, how Muhammad got his very first revelation right from that particular book. Okay, this particular hadith. Now I know some Muslims out there is they will say that, hey, Korede, we don't trust the hadith, we don't believe in the hadith. The hadith was written by men and all of that. Now the truth of the matter is that the Quran was written by men too. It was actually written down by men. So that's actually a shallow argument for you to say that we don't believe in the hadith because it was written by men. Now some of them actually had a valid point in saying that the hadith was written, like 200 or 300 years after the Prophet of Islam. Okay, yeah, that's true. But then this is where you get the information about, the revelation of the Quran from. Without the hadith, we can't know where the revelation, how Muhammad actually received his revelation. In fact, without the hadith, we cannot even know the process of the compilation of the Quran. Okay, so these literature are really very important. These things are very important, and the Muslim must not deny this. Denying this means that you can't practice Islam, because a whole lot of things that you're practicing as a Muslim that is actually embedded in the hadith is not in the Quran. All right. So let's move further with that said. Okay, so how did he get this revelation? What happened? Okay, what is the process? We're going to be getting the information right from the youngest wife of the Prophet of Islam. All right, now the Prophet of Islam actually married a couple of women while he was alive, and the youngest of them all is the woman called Aisha. Okay, Aisha is the youngest of all. Muhammad married Aisha at the age of 6, and then he has sex with her at the age of 9. Okay, so that's the youngest wife of the Prophet of Islam. Okay, so Aisha is a very powerful woman in Islam, very powerful force in Islam. In fact, you have a lot of hadith narration coming from Aisha. Okay, so because it's very close to the Prophet according to the Islamic tradition, so there's a whole lot of things that we get to know about the Prophet of Islam that is coming through, Aisha. All right, so Aisha is going to be narrating to us how the prophet received his revelation, how the revelation get to the prophet. Now, I want you to be patient with me because we're going to be doing a lot of reading. In fact, this is where we're going to end the show. I'm not ending the show right now, just in case you think I'm going to be ending the show right now. No, no. What I'm trying to say is that this is where we're going to be doing most of our readings. We're going to be doing our readings, and then we're going to be taking a look at it together. All right. And this is what we're going to be doing for today, because I really, really think that the understanding of how the Prophet of Islam gets his revelation, or got his revelation, we actually change a lot of things in your mind if you're a Christian, and it will give you an insight to some certain things that is really very important in understanding the minds of the Muslims. All right. So let's get ready, and then let's get going. All right. So according to the narration from Aisha, by the way, I'm getting this from Sahih Buhari. Sahih Buhari, volume 1. Okay, I did number 3. So if you want to check this online, just in case you want to check this, I did narration I'm talking about online. Just make sure that you go online, go to www.sunnah.com. Again, www.sunnah.com. Now, in that website, you have, arranged, and also in a database form, all these, hadith that I'm talking about. You have the Sahih Buhari, Sahih Muslim, Ibn Majah, you have all of this, the Abu Dawood, you have all this, hadith right there in a digital form, such that as a Muslim, you can actually go online and have access to any of these hadith at any point in time. Of course, like I said, a couple of weeks ago, probably last week or 2 weeks ago, I talked about this because this is an endeavor of the Muslim to make sure now that these resources are available for the Muslims Ummah all over the world. All right, so that's really very important. Okay, so now let's move further. So now Aisha is the one narrating this hadith to us right now. Is narrating the hadith to us, and then let's see what Aisha is saying. Okay, so as we read, narrated Aisha, the mother of the faithful believer, the commencement of the divine inspiration to Allah's messenger was in the form of a good dreams, which came true like bright daylight. And then the law of seclusion was bestowed upon him. He used to go to secluded places in the cave of Hira, where he used to worship Allah alone continuously for many days before his desire to see his family. All right. So right here we see now that Aisha is telling us that the Prophet of Islam used to go to, to the mountain because he actually loved, to be secluded and all of that. So folks, you're going to give me a minute right now. Just give me a minute. We're going to be going for a short break right now. So just give me a minute. I'll be right back. I need to actually take care of a technical issue right now. So please just give me a minute, and then I'll be right back. So please don't go away. Don't go away, please. Just a minute, and I'll be right back.
Lord, we love you. Father, we give you all the glory. You are my rock, my strength and my trust. In you I live and move and have my being. You are my shelter, my peace and my shield. You are my everything. You are worthy to be praised. You are my rock, my strength and my trust. In you I live and move and have my being. You are my shelter, my peace and my shield. You are my everything. You are worthy to be praised. Sweet Jesus, beautiful King, no Father like you, no friend like you. Your love for me is everlasting. No one like you, no one like you. Sweet Jesus, beautiful King, there is no Father like you, no friend like you. Your love for me is everlasting.
All right, so folks, I'm really very sorry about that. We needed to take that break. It's really very important that we take that break. All right, just to make sure that a couple of technical issues was sorted in the background. So I think we're good to go right now. So let's continue. We're talking about the Prophet of Islam. We're talking about the revelation. We're talking about how he used to love to go on seclusion. All right, so that's what we see on the Hadith narration. So he usually loved to go into a particular place, to pray and all of that. So that's what we've seen so far. Let's continue because of time. So we've seen the last part there we see is that he usually continuously for many days he used to go to worship Allah before his desire to see his family. All right, so that is well taken. And then next also we see he used to, okay, folks, are you seeing this? All right, yeah, I want to be sure that you're saying this. Also, he used to take with him the journey for food for the stay, and also then come back to his wife Khadija to take his food likewise again, till suddenly the truth descended upon him. All right, the truth descended upon him while he was in the cave of Hira. Can you imagine that, folks? When he was going to that place, when he usually go to that place, according to this, so the truth has not descended upon him yet. All right. Now he used to go to worship Allah. He used to go to seclude himself just to make sure that he, worship Allah, meditate, and all of that. He wants to be alone. I believe he was doing that because he want to find out some certain things. Okay. But then take note of what the Hadith says right there. The Hadith narration. It says that he was doing this until suddenly the truth descended upon him while he was still in the cave of Hira. All right. So what it means is that right before this time, the truth had not descended on the Prophet of Islam. I mean, how clearer can this get? So that means before this particular time, the truth had not descended on him. So, but right now, when he was in that cave, when he was doing his meditation, then the truth descended upon him. All right, so let's move further. I want to make sure that we get this very straight and fast so that our time will not be fast spent on this particular issue. So the angel came to him and asked him to read. The prophet replied, I do not know how to read. The prophet added, the angel caught me forcefully and pressed me so hard that I could not bear it anymore. Now take a look at that. While he was there, he said an angel came to him. Let's read that part again. He said, the angel came to him, all right, and I asked him to read. The prophet replied, I do not know how to read. Now, by the way, according to the standard Islamic narration, is that Muhammad, the prophet of Islam, is an illiterate person. This is somebody that cannot, read and write. Okay, but then we have some Muslims that actually believe that this is not entirely true. Some Muslims actually believe that Muhammad, he is indeed literate. But you see, you have about 90% of the Muslim, in the Muslim Ummah that believe that Muhammad is indeed an illiterate person. But then we have some few Muslims that believe no, Muhammad could read and write. In fact, we even bring up some hadith narration and even some evidences from the Quran to show that yes, indeed, Muhammad could read and write. Okay, but then largely the Muslims generally believe that Muhammad is an illiterate person. He cannot read, neither can he write. So, but then going by that particular understanding of Muhammad not being able to read and write, okay, going by that, then we could say that yes, when the angel came to Muhammad, okay, the angel was like, okay, so I want you to read. And Muhammad was saying, I do not know how to read. I mean, why do you ask me to read? What shall I read? I don't know how to read. All right. So, but before we go further, take a look at this. An angel of God is coming to me. So let's say I'm actually an illiterate person. Okay. An angel of God is coming to me. I believe that that angel should have been briefed already. That you see, the person that you're going to does not know how to read. All right. This person is an illiterate person. All right. So if you are going to give an illiterate person a book to read, you're actually making a mistake. It's like you're not getting your information right. Okay, so how come the angel does not know that Muhammad is an illiterate? All right, but then before I jump the cards, okay, so let's just move further. Let's read further what Aisha is telling us right here that the prophet experienced. It says the angel caught me forcefully and pressed me so hard that I could not bear it anymore. Do you know what it means? That the angel caught Muhammad forcefully and pressed him so hard to the extent that Muhammad could not bear it anymore. You know what it means not to be able to bear something anymore? What it means is that at that point in time, the prophet was almost giving up. It was going to be like, it seems I'm going to die right now. It seems I'm going to die. That is actually what is happening. Now, why should an angel of God who has something to give to somebody, all right, tell that person who is actually an illiterate, tell that person to read when the person does not know how to read? You see, but that's not the end of the story. All right, let's continue further. That's not the end of the story. Now we read further, okay, saying, he then released me and asked me to read, and I replied, I do not know how to read. Thereupon he caught me again and pressed me a second time till I could not bear it anymore. Now this is the second time that the angel is pressing the prophet of Islam. Remember, the first time he pressed him till the angel cannot, till Muhammad, the prophet of Islam, cannot bear it anymore. He was almost dying. And then he's asking the angel, I don't know how to read now. Or what do you want me to read? I don't know how to read. All right. So it happened the first time, but the angel did it the second time. He was asking the prophet to read. And the prophet is saying, I do not know how to read. Or what shall I read? I mean, for the life of me, the prophet is justified to say what he's saying. He does not know how to read. You can't force somebody that does not know how to read something. He does not know it. Okay? But then the angel did not stop right there. The angel kept tormenting him, keep pressing him until the prophet cannot bear it anymore. Now let's read further. All right? Until the prophet cannot bear it anymore. So he said, thereupon he caught me again and pressed me a second time till I could not bear it anymore. And he said, he then released me and asked me, okay, he again asked me to read, but again I replied, I do not know how to read, or what shall I read? So we're not seeing right here that the angel, okay, because we don't even know who the angel is, okay? At this point in time, we can't even say this is actually an angel, because why do you keep pressing the man? The man does not know how to read. You keep pressing him, okay? So the angel now, did the same thing the first time. The angel now did the same thing the second time. Now, by this time, you'll be thinking, okay, so the angel should have realized, if he doesn't know before, okay, he should have realized by now that I guess this guy is actually an illiterate. I guess he's not just pretending. I think he's actually truthful. I think he's saying that he does not know how to read. So let me help him out. But that wasn't the case, actually. The angel pressed him again. Now let's read what happened the third time. Let's continue reading. Now the reason I'm bringing this to us is because I'm bringing it from the Islamic sources, because if I mention it, some Muslims will begin to accuse me and say, hey, Korede, you are reading into the Islamic sources what is not there. All right. So again, we read further. Thereupon, he caught me for the third time and pressed me again, and then released me and said, read in the name of your Lord, who has created all that exists, created man from cloth. Read, and your Lord is the most generous. And that is Quran chapter 9, 96, verse 1, 2 and 3, that particular verse that I actually mentioned initially. So what happened is that the angel called the prophet of Islam again for the third time and is asking him to read. Okay, so the first time he asked him to read, the second time he asked him to read, he couldn't read. Then the third time he pressed him again, and then he now said, read, and then he now begin to tell him what to read. I mean, why should you tell somebody to read what it does not know how to read? Why? It shows that, number one, this angel was not really fully informed. The angel does not know what is going on. He does not even have the details of the man. I mean, how can an angel be ignorant of the person he wants to go and deliver a message to? Remember, in the Bible, anytime we see, an angel going to meet a particular person, the angel is not caught by surprises. The angel is not wondering, like, okay, do this thing, and the person is saying, well, I can't do it. The angel is not like, what is going on here? No, the angel already have information of the person is going to, and he knows the message is going to deliver. And another thing I want you to take note is that you never see the angel of God manhandling people, all right, the way Muhammad was manhandled right here. This particular angel was almost snuffing the life out of the prophet. Now, I know again, because I've seen Muslims accuse me of this and saying, Corey, you're reading way too more into the hadith. No, I'm not. The hadith says that the prophet could not bear it any longer. Can you imagine somebody holding you here? Okay, holding you by the throat, is pressing it until almost you're about breathing your last. That is what we call you could not hold it any longer. Meaning that one last breath is gone. It is at that point in time that this particular angel will leave him and let him go. Why do you have to torture somebody because you want to give him the revelation? Folks, this is how Muhammad received this revelation. This is how he received his revelation. Now, before going further on this, I've received a couple of comments from Muslims. In fact, there's a particular dark preacher in Nigeria who actually, when this was presented to him, was like, no, this can't be true. He was saying this. He was saying that this narration cannot be true. That how can the angel of God be coming to somebody and begin to and want to kill that person? He's saying it, yeah, in Nigeria, right here. He's saying it's not true. Okay? So, but then, you see, this is actually the reality. This is what was documented by the Muslims of how Muhammad received his very first revelation. But you see, that's not all. Let's continue, okay? Let's continue reading. Now, he now says they should read all of those things. Then see what happened. He said, then our last messenger returned with the inspiration and with his heart beating severely. Then he went to Khadija bint Khuwaylid and said, cover me, cover me. Can you imagine that? The prophet was in fear. After having that kind of encounter, he was afraid. He ran to the house. He ran to his wife and he was saying, cover me, cover me, cover me. Oh my God. The prophet was afraid. It was a trauma for him. It was a strange encounter for him because, like I said, that angel almost snuffed life out of him. So he was afraid. Immediately he got the revelation. He was afraid. He ran to the house and he was saying that, cover me, cover me, cover me. And I know if you are the wife of the prophet, you must have been afraid also. And you must have been asking, what is actually going on? And that's what we're going to be seeing right here. So immediately that happened, he was shouting, cover me, cover me, cover me. Immediately that happened. And then, Khadija was actually responding. Khadija then accompanied him to her cousin, Waraka bin Nufar bin Asad bin Abdulazar, who during the pre-Islamic period became a Christian and used to write the writing with Hebrew letters. He would write from the gospel in Hebrew as much as Allah wished him to write. He was an old man and has lost his eyesight. Khadija said to Waraka. Now, before we even get to what Khadija said to Waraka, take a look at what is happening right here. According to this particular hadith narration, when Muhammad had that experience, when Muhammad was shivering, when he was afraid, when he was like, what is actually going on? You understand? When he got to the house, Khadija held him. And Khadija took Muhammad to a cousin called Waraka. Now, according to what we had here right now, Waraka was a Christian. Now, see what is going on right here. If we're going to go by this hadith narration, Muhammad, when he had that strange encounter, which in Christendom is what we say that is a demonic encounter, all right? When he had that strange encounter, Khadija took Muhammad to Waraka. Waraka, according to what we're told, used to write the gospel in Hebrew, all right? Okay, so, and he's a Christian, according to what we're told. All right. But you see, you begin to now see the kind of Christian that Waraka is as time goes on. But then the lesson that I want us to learn from here before we even move on is that, see, what do you do as a Christian when a Muslim comes to you? All right. When a Muslim comes to you and he wants to hear about the gospel, when he wants to hear about the message of the gospel, what do you do to that Muslim? Do you say, hey, go to hell? You have been destined to go to hellfire. Oh, no, I don't want to listen to you. You guys are too argumentative. You're so aggressive. You're so violent and all of that. Is that what you tell that Muslim? Or do you take, advantage of that opportunity to present the gospel of our Lord and your Savior, Jesus Christ, to that kind of a Muslim? So think about that. All right. So when Khadija took Muhammad to Waraka, what actually happened? Let's read on. All right. We're going to be finishing this soon. Okay. So when he took Muhammad to Waraka, then we were told that Waraka was an old man and had lost his eyesight. And then Khadija said to Waraka, listen to the story of your nephew, oh my cousin. Waraka asked, oh my nephew, what have you seen? Allah's messenger described whatever he has seen. Waraka said, this is the same one who keeps the secrets, that is Angel Gabriel in bracket, whom Allah sent to Moses. I wish I were young and could live up to the time when your people would turn you out. Allah's messenger asked, will they drive me out? Now, take a look at what happened right here. When this particular person, Baraka, had what happened to Muhammad, look at the response he gave to Muhammad. He said that, Muhammad, you need to be afraid. You see that particular angel that came to you? It's the same one that actually came to Moses. It's the one that actually been giving revelations to Moses. It's the one that revealed stuff to Moses. Can you imagine that? Instead of Waraka, if we were to be a true Christian, to tell him that, see, you are actually in danger at this point in time. I begin to tell him that, see, how can you say that a being came to you, an angel came to you and is pressing you so hard? That is actually not from God. And began to preach to Muhammad. And began to now encourage Muhammad that, Muhammad, don't worry. You see that particular being that came to you, that angel, is the same one that actually used to bring revelation to Moses, bring stuff to Moses, and all of that. So at the end of the day, Waraka, who is said to be a Christian, was even the one that is encouraging Muhammad in that experience that he had. Can you imagine that? See, right from the very beginning of the revelation that Muhammad had, we had a careless Christian, a Christian that is not knowledgeable, who was supposed to help Muhammad out of this error as the error was coming forth. And then he even helped Muhammad to go deep into this error. Can you imagine that? Can you imagine this? So you ask yourself as a Christian, when Muslims come around you and they're making inquiry about your faith, how do you respond to them? Do you draw them to Christ through your response, or do you further push them into Islam? That's actually what Baraka did. Baraka pushed Muhammad into this particular experience that he had, demonic experience. Muhammad was confused. He was shocked. He needed somebody to explain to him what was going on. But Baraka could not even give an explanation. He was telling him, encouraging him again, don't worry. You see, the experience that you had, there's nothing new about it. Even Moses also, that being that came to you used to appear to Moses. Can you imagine that? So Waraka was an instrument to the creation of Islam, was an instrument to the beginning of Islam. You can imagine that. So let's go further. But as Christians, we need to have this, in our minds. All right. So Muhammad was asking him, Waraka, would they drive him out? And then Waraka responded. Waraka replied in the affirmative and said, any man who came with something similar to what you have brought was treated with hostility. And if I should remain alive till the day when you will be turned out, then I will support you strongly. Can you imagine that? But after a few days, Waraka died, and the divine revelation or inspiration was also paused for a while. So we can see right here that Waraka, a Christian, according to this particular account, is the one that even encouraged Muhammad to go on with Islam. You can imagine that. Even though the angel came to him or was praising him, Muhammad was almost gone. He was confused. He does not have an idea of what has happened to him. He was even shouting, cover me, cover me. According to the story, Khadija had to cover him until his fear was over. You can imagine that. We don't know how many minutes it was for. We don't know how many hours it was for. We don't even know if it was for days. We don't know. But it says until his fear was over. Muhammad was terrified. He was terrified. In fact, according to some hadith narration, when Muhammad is receiving revelation, he usually have foam coming out of his mouth. And then, according to some hadith narration, okay, even the one that narrated by Aisha, it says when that revelation is coming to the Prophet of Islam, his eye will turn red. You understand? The eyes will turn, and then foam will start coming out of his mouth. That is the event that surrounds how Muhammad received his revelation. Folks, it's really very important Even before we begin to talk about the Quran, before we talk about the Muslims, it is very important that you understand how the revelation came to the Prophet of Islam. There's some certain things I would have mentioned, but because there's no time again, we have just about 10 minutes more. So at this point in time, I think I'll be taking questions. If you have questions, you can put them right there, and then I'll be able to take your questions. All right. Okay, so we thank you, Adesanya. Thank you very much for coming on the show. Really appreciate it. God bless you. Okay, so we also have Kebra. Kebra is actually saying, welcome, Broke. I say, welcome to you, Kebra. Kebra, I don't know where you're watching from. Kindly, if you can actually tell us where you're watching from, that would be beautiful. Also, Kofi Martin say good afternoon, bro. Already, and I'll say good afternoon to you. Also, we also have Woodby. Woodby saying thank you, bro, for your work. Glory be to God. Again, yes, amen, and thank you too. Dimitri is saying season apologies and is sending his love. Also, we have also a greetings right here for Omirefa Aremu Tokbe. Umirefa Aremutokwe. I'm sorry if I'm not pronouncing your name the way it ought to. I'm really very sorry about that. Thank you very much for the show of love. Also, David Shokai, God bless you, saint of God. We also say God bless you to you. Also, Stephen is saying, looking at the life of the Prophet of Islam, it is shocking to imagine that Muslims say is the best example for mankind. True. We're not even getting to some of the things that the Prophet of Islam had done. If we're able to see some of those things, that could be shocking to some Muslims. I mean, some of the things that the Prophet of Islam had actually done. All right. Okay, so Jocelyn is saying, Altri, is it that is the father? Altri is his father. Is it not Abdullah? Yeah, Abdullah is actually the father of the Prophet of Islam. That's actually what I mentioned right there while I was talking about this. Okay, so Falak Yusuf says, indeed, Muhammad is the greatest human to ever exist in the face of the globe. Well, that is your opinion. By the time we begin to take a look at the life of the Prophet, I don't know if you will still be able to maintain that. All right. Edwin Bartolome is saying, Shalom from Malaysia. God bless you always. Hallelujah. Thank you very much, Edwin, for watching all the way from Malaysia. God bless you. All right, bro. James is saying, what is the message they did not want to hear? Well. I don't know what you're actually referring to, but I think it's actually when I was talking about some certain things that we've unveiled concerning the life of the prophet. Some of these things that we're talking about today. This issue of the angel holding the prophet wanted to snuff life out of him. It's not something pleasant for Muslims to want to hear. And apart from that, there are some things about the life of the prophet that the Muslims don't like hearing as well. All right, so that's just it. Okay, so he's asking again, what was that strange message these people didn't want to take? Okay, I think he's actually referring to the very same thing that I've actually responded to. All right. Oh, you were talking about the strange message. Okay, so Muhammad was actually preaching to his people, okay, that they should stop the idol worship. All right, he's telling them that all of this idol worship that they're engaged in, that they should stop it. That the only God that they should worship is Allah. All right, that's what he was telling them. All right, he was telling them that, see, you guys should stop all this idol worship that you're, all these things that you're engaged in. You guys should stop it, and you should just worship Allah alone. All right, so that's actually what he wanted them to do, and they are not willing to actually listen to that. All right, so Moriyono Greatness Oluwatobi says this is the truth they do not want to hear. All right, and then we have Olubenga Joel is showing forth appreciation. Thank you very much. We have Danielle. Okay, so Danielle is saying you're doing a great job. Thank you very much, Danielle. God bless you. Adit. Okay, so somebody's asking what's the meaning of Adit. Okay, all right. So the Adit in the Islamic world, the Hadith is actually the documentation of the sayings, all right, the things that the Prophet had said, and the doings, the sayings and the doings of the Prophet. Like the Muslims believe that the Quran is the word of God. I mean, it's the word of Allah. The word of the Prophet is not there. Everything from the beginning to the end is the word of Allah, all right? But then if you want to see the word of the Prophet, like the things that he said, like the things that he does, and all of that, all those are documented in the Hadith. So that's what the Hadith is to the Muslims, all right? Okay, so we have Selfie Ako. Selfie Ako is saying, God bless you, great job. And I say, God bless you too. Also, Tebe Ebok Ayuk is saying, very interesting and mind-blowing. It is indeed. Adebayo Mana is saying shalom, and we say shalom to you as well. Keep it up. Yes, we will keep it up. God bless you for that. Waterfish is saying, peace of Jesus Christ be with us. We say amen to that. We need the peace more than ever before. Yes, we need that peace. All right. Okay, so Selfiako is saying, if truly it's an angel, it should have been aware Muhammad was illiterate. Exactly. It should have been aware that Muhammad is actually illiterate. It should have been forcing him to actually read that, that particular thing he wanted him to read. Falak Yusuf is saying, one thing you need to understand is that angels are not gods. I don't know what you mean by that. Do you mean to say gods? Okay. Angels are not gods. They are creation of God Almighty. Okay. Put this in your mind. Yeah, we understand that. But then if an angel is sent from God, I believe God should have given that information to the angel. This is what you need to go deliver. And must have given the information about the person to the angel. So the angel does not go there and start messing up. All right? You don't start messing up, begin to torture somebody unnecessarily. Okay, so that's what we're saying, Falak. All right? Thank you very much for the comment, Falak. You are truly reading from Sahih Buhari. That's the authentic hadith they all believe. Yes, Sahih Buhari. By the way, Sahih means authentic, okay? And of course, we know that it's not all the hadith in Sahih Buhari that is authentic, because the Muslims have actually graded some to be, weak, some to be authentic, and some to be reliable. All right. So we have some that are Zan. All right. So they have these gradings that they have given to them. All right. So you're truly reading from Sahih Buhari. Yes, that's actually where we're reading from. Okay. Please upload this on YouTube. You're seeing the right thing. It's actually on YouTube. Folks, if you're watching this right now on Facebook, please get to know that this thing is also going on YouTube. Anytime we're having the Season Apologist live, it's going on YouTube and Facebook at the same time. All right. So if you want to watch it again on YouTube, all you just need to go to YouTube and type Season Apologist. All right, Season Apologist on YouTube, and you will be able to have access to this video. All right. Okay. So here's a comment from Daniel. But they eventually, but they eventually don't die. Their spirit have much knowledge. Daniel, I didn't really get that, but they definitely, okay. So I think you're trying to say definitely don't die. They are spirit and have much knowledge. Okay, so I think that was actually talking about the Gabriel. Read from where? Was the angel in possession of any spiritual or physical book? Is the word read or recite? Oh, thank you very much for that question, bro. Ibobola. Okay, so that's the question. The angel was not holding any physical book at that point in time. All right, there's no book that the angel was actually holding. Okay, he wasn't holding any book. Now, that word there could actually be read or could be translated as recite. But you see, if we try to be recite at this point in time, so let's just take the argument, because I've seen some Muslims say, well, he's not telling him to read, he's just telling him to recite. So let's just take the argument for recite. If what the angel is telling him is that recite, it could have been very easy for him to recite. I mean, if angel is saying that, say, I am A, simply just saying, I am A, you follow through. You say what exactly the angels have said. But that was not the case, because if that were to be the case, Muhammad would have just recited what the angel is saying. I mean, because eventually that's actually what happened. Later, when the angel came to him and he was teaching him, the Quran and all of that, it was actually recitation. He would recite it, Muhammad would actually, follow with it and all of that. But this one, it is not recitation that actually followed through. In this particular context, it is read. Because if it is recitation, then why didn't Muhammad just recite? It's very simple. The angel will just tell him that, okay, say Allah is the only one God. Say Allah is the one that created all that exists. Say Allah. Muhammad will just go ahead and begin to say the very same thing. Okay, because he could say that, because he did that eventually, during the course of his life. But here he was actually telling him to read. And then the question is, where is the book he's going to read? And what is he going to read? All right. Now, if we're going to go by recite again, the prophet is asking, what am I going to recite? So let's even go with recite now. Let's say it's actually recite. Then the prophet is asking, what am I reciting? What do I recite if not read? Okay, let's just go with recite. What do I recite? Okay, so it's not actually about reciting, it's about reading. And that's the reason why it was actually very, very difficult for the prophet, and it was traumatizing for him. Okay, so was the angel in possession of the... No, it was not. And yes, we've actually taken care of this particular question. I hope it's very clear to everybody. And then Falak is saying, no, not everything in the angel knows. They receive orders from God Almighty. That is actually true. So at the point of receiving the order, okay, God is telling the angel, this is what I want you to go and do. Okay, so why is Muhammad telling the angel? Why did he have to tell him 3 times for the angel to know that Muhammad is an illiterate? He was telling him read, and the angel is saying, I can't read, or what shall I read? So what do you want him to read? This person does not know how to read. What do you want him to read? You're not bringing a physical book, and you're telling him to read. What do you want him to read? So it's actually ridiculous. The angel is just compounding the whole thing for the prophet of Islam. Okay, so Daniel is saying, not like Angel Gabriel, go and read the book of Daniel, Gospel. We know about, see, in the Bible, we know about Angel Gabriel. Angel Gabriel will actually, when he appears to people, will tell them, peace be upon you and all of that. Even when they are afraid, he will try to strengthen them and all of that. But in this case, this Angel Gabriel was almost killing the prophet. For what? It was almost killing the prophet, all right? Okay, so Yusuf Falak is saying again, anything wrong in the inspiration from Waraka to Muhammad? What do you mean by that? Anything wrong with the inspiration from Waraka to Muhammad? What inspiration? Waraka did not give Muhammad any revelation. He was just trying to support him, but he did that in error. All right, he did that in error. All right, Selfie Ako. This is Moyo Yewale watching from Wilbur, New Jersey, US. Oh, okay. Selfie Ako, thank you very much for actually identifying yourself. God bless you. Really appreciate that. So Watson Walters is saying, great job, bro. Thank you very much, Watson Walters. Really appreciate you for that. And then we also have Olubenga actually saying here, God bless you. So I want to know where I can get this hadith you read. Okay, so if you want to actually get this hadith, you can just go online, go to www.suna.com. All right, I think I need to just type that on the screen so you can get to see that. Www.suna.com, that is the website you can go to and you can see that hadith on the screen. All right, so that is it, www.suna.com. All right, so folks, that is it. It's actually right there on the screen. So that is it on the screen right there, www.suna.com, www.suna.com. Just go to that website and you'll be able to see that particular hadith that we're actually reading right from. The only thing guys actually watching from Bida, Niger State. Thank you very much for joining me. God bless you. No, not this particular one. It's actually double N. Okay, it's actually double N. Then you have H at the back. So that is SUNNAH.com. That is it. Okay, so we have a comment right there from Muslim Suraj Isman. You are lying. Give us the hadith where Muhammad's mouth brought out foam. Oh my God. Okay, so he does not believe that Muhammad was actually bringing out foam from his mouth. Sweat actually come out from his body. He received revelation directly from Angel Gabriel, and it's new to him, but it's not a sign of demon possession. Okay, so Siraj, you don't believe that what I'm actually saying is the truth, and you don't believe that all of the things that I've actually said so far is the truth. When I said that his eye was turning and all of that, you don't believe it. All right. So for the sake of Siraj, guys, let me just go to sunnah.com, okay, so that we can bring up for our dear brother, because I'm going to actually post it on the screen. Hopefully, I'll be able to see everything, because sometimes when I'm posting stuff on the screen, you might not be able to see all of the information. It might cut off. All right. It's already 2 o'clock, but just for 1 minute. All right, just for 1 minute, I just want to bring up another, because it's not just about how you receive the revelation from the one that I've actually said so far. Okay, I want to bring in another one that you are going to see, where you have the sweating and the high toning and all of that. Okay, so let me see if I could quickly bring one out of that. Okay, all right, so I've seen one right here. Let me see. Okay, so I'm going to post this one right there so that we can actually all see it together. Okay, after this, then we're going to be wrapping up, because I don't want us to go more than 2 hours. I don't want us to go more than 1 hour, because I discovered that now we've been going long hours now, and that is not really very good. All right, so we need to keep the time. Okay, so folks, I'm posting this right now. Oh my God, I can't. Everything is not posted actually here, but let me just post this so you can see it on the screen. All right. This is not everything, folks. Let me see if I can get the other one right there. This one stops at that. I need to get the rest of the hadith so that we can quickly see this. Okay. All right, so that I understand. Okay, so yeah. Okay, so there we go. So let's read this one first. Narrated Aisha that Arid bin Isham asked the Prophet, how does revelation come to you? This is just one of it. There are so many of them. Okay. And the Prophet said, the messenger of Allah says, sometimes it comes to me like the ringing of a bell. All right. It comes to me like the ringing of a bell that, okay, I need to get that part again. I'm sorry about this. Just want to make sure that I get the remaining parts right here. It comes to me like the ringing of the bell that I understand. All right. Okay, I understand what it says. Aisha says, I saw the messenger of Allah. Okay, something has been cut off. I can't post the whole hadith right there because it's cutting off from the screen. All right, but then just let us read this particular one. I understand what it says. Aisha said, I saw the messenger of Allah while the revelation was descending upon him on an extremely cold day. Then it says, and his forehead was flooded with sweat. This is another one. Okay, there's a whole lot of them. All right, because of time, I don't want to bring all of all of the signs of the revelation that he usually receive. But then I want to assure you that I'm going to post this after the program so that we can actually see this because of time. Okay, I'll post that so you can see it yourself, and you won't say, "Hey, I'm actually the one making stuff up." So I'm not making this up, Siraj. This is actually what is in your book. Okay, I'm not lying. All right, so now let's go to Abiola is actually saying what Christians said did to Waraka belong to. Well, we don't know actually. Some are saying that is not fully a Christian, while some are saying that is a Gnostic Christian. So there's a lot of theory about the kind of Christian that Waraka was. Okay, we don't know the kind of Christian it was, but then definitely by telling Muhammad that kind of a thing, it means that he wasn't getting it right. All right, because there's no relationship between the experience that Muhammad had and the experience that Moses had. All right, it's not the very same thing. Okay, so can you give us insight? Also, the account of what happened was given by a third party who was never there. Yeah, that's true. Waraka didn't record this personally. In that case, I would suggest we don't come to conclusion. My opinion, though, that's a very, very good point you made right there. Okay, now it was a third party narration, which is actually coming from Aisha. But you see, this is the thing. This is the thing. The Muslim trusted Aisha so much because Aisha was actually the closest to Muhammad, the beloved of all of his wife. All right. So they trusted her so much, such that all the information that is coming from Aisha would not be doubted. All right. So the Muslims actually believe this. Now, they are not saying that we are making this up. The Muslims actually believe this. They believe what Aisha is saying is the truth. Okay. They believe that Muhammad at the point in time must have told Aisha what happened. Okay. And then Aisha is now telling the Ummah what actually happened. All right. So that's actually what the narration is all about. Okay, so it says, so Muhammad told them to stop idol worship. Incredible. Not exactly, really. So this is actually what happened. Of course, they were idol worshiping right there, in this place and in his days. And he does not want to get involved in that particular kind of idol worship. Okay, he does not want to be involved at all. At the end of the day, he was telling them that, so you guys should stop this idol worship thing. Okay, I don't want you to worship this idol. But then, while he's telling them to stop the idol worship, there's a particular God that's the general God that the Arabs actually worship, the ultimate amongst all of the gods, and that is Allah. Okay, and that is the reason why, if you look into Islamic history and you look at the period that Muhammad was born, there is the Kaaba right there, and this Kaaba was known to have possessed or to have housed 360 idols. Okay, you have about 360 idols in the Kaaba. This was happening when Muhammad was born. In fact, his grandfather, okay, his grandfather during the life of the prophet. In fact, before the year Muhammad was born, which is called the year of the elephant, okay, that particular year where he was born, something happened. His grandfather was actually taking care of the Kaaba. And of course, the Kaaba is the house of idols, okay? Other worshippers do go there to worship their different idols and all of that. And then you have somebody coming wanting to destroy the Kaaba. You want to destroy this Kaaba. So while he wanted to destroy the Kaaba, the person that was actually taking charge of the Kaaba, who is actually, the grandfather of Muhammad, was actually praying to the God of the Kaaba. Take a look at this. The Kaaba houses 360 idols. These are the gods in the Kaaba. And the priest of that particular Kaaba is praying to the God of the Kaaba. Who is the God of the Kaaba? Is it not the idols that are there that are the gods of the Kaaba? All right. So he was actually praying to that particular God, that God should help protect his house. And eventually, according to the Islamic narration, when these soldiers were coming with elephants and all of that, when they were coming to come and destroy the house, strange birds were dropping stones from the sky. They were dropping stones from the sky and they were dropping it on these soldiers. And immediately these stones will drop on them, it will melt their skins. All right. So this is actually what happened. So they were praying to the God of the house to protect the house. And the God of the house indeed protected the house by sending birds from the sky, against those people that wanted to destroy the house, and that's eventually how the Kaaba was safeguarded at that point in time. So it's not entirely true that, yes, it was actually protecting, people from idol worship. Yes, there were a lot of idol worship right there. But if you take a look at his life also, largely, you will discover that at the end of the day, what he's engaged into also, or what is done, or what he's doing, is also the very same thing, but in a higher version. So for instance now, who is this Jibril that came to the prophet and was just maltreating him and was almost killing him? Do you think that is actually from the Most High God? Do you think it's the Most High, the God of heavens and the earth, Okay, the true God is the one that actually sent Jibril to do that. No, I don't think is actually the God of heaven and earth. So I understand the point you're trying to make. That's not actually what happened. Okay. All right, so and then we have Victor Innocent watching from Malaysia. Thank you very much, Victor. God bless you. At this point in time, we'll not be able to take so much questions because of this, the time that we're actually 2:10. Usually close this program by 2 o'clock. All right. Okay, so but then we have Kemas actually saying, "Great, you're wonderfully doing great. There are many things Mohammed did that is unfortunate and it's hard to believe." That's true. All right, so we're going to be reading this last comment, and that will be the end of the discussion for today. I'm sorry, we still have a lot of comments, coming right from here. I'm sorry about that. Please, we will not be able to look at all the comment that you have right here because of our time. Okay, so let's just take this one comment from Adeyemo, and then that will be it for today. All what you are saying are based on assumptions, sir. That is why I can't really take you serious, because you can't bring where the angel pressed him in the neck and where foam came out from his mouth in the Quran. No, we're not talking about the Quran. I made mention right from the beginning of the program that the process of the revelation, how the whole thing happened, is not in the Quran. We have the verses that were revealed to him in the Quran, but the process is not in the Quran. It is in the Hadith. Except if you are saying that what we have in the Hadith right now is not true. Okay, so if you're a Muslim and you're saying this, yes, no problem. No problem. It's okay. All right. I can understand that. You can't believe this. But if you're now saying that, see, I'm fabricating stuff even when I'm reading out to you, oh no, don't say that. I understand how you're feeling. All right. See, my brother, Quran is living like Hadith that you're reading. All the report that you're reading is not from the Prophet himself or Allah. Moreover, you said, can the Prophet be afraid? No, I didn't say that. Then what can you say about your Bible that Jesus was also afraid of death? No, I didn't say that, can a prophet be afraid? I said that because of that terrifying situation, he was scared, he was afraid. I'm not saying that the prophet cannot be afraid. No, that's not what I'm saying. Okay, what I'm saying is that because of this terrifying situation, he was afraid. And yes, he should be afraid. Because if you see a spirit coming pressing you, and for the life of me, you are saying that there is nowhere where he's saying pressing. I did not say he was pressing him in the neck. I said he pressed him. I assumed that yes, it's going to be at the neck. Now there's something that, see, that's my assumption. But then if somebody is saying that it pressed me so hard, cool, till I could not bear it anymore, it could be anywhere. It could be the high. Maybe he was almost blinding the high. Okay. It could be the throat. Probably he couldn't breathe again. And it could be down below. All right. I don't want to imagine that. That's why I didn't mention that. I don't want to be so wide in my imagination. It could be down below, pressing him right there also, and he couldn't bear it any longer. But then I don't want to imagine that, okay? Because this is a very serious thing. So the assumption is that whichever way it pressed him, Muhammad was almost dying. All right? Muhammad was almost dying, whichever way was pressing him. All right? So I didn't specifically say neck, but yes, I demonstrated this. It could be the neck, it could be the eye, it could be the down below, it could be anywhere. But wherever it was pressing him, the prophet was almost dying. All right. So that's actually what I want us to take note of. From wherever it was almost dying. All right. Thank you, Peter Obiri, from watching all the way from Ghana. God bless you. And thank you very much for joining in. All right. So I'm sorry that I won't be able to take much comment right now. This is the last comment we're going to be taking. This is coming from Adeyemo again. Moreover, one more thing, I love your program. I love your program. It's on the aspect of Hadith. You keep exposing all the fake Hadiths for the nominal Muslim who thinks all Hadith are authentic. Assuming you are bringing all those things from the Quran, I will take you serious. But you can't because it's perfect. That's why most of you always use report of Hadith to criticize Islam. Okay, so it has gotten to this stage where the report that you're hearing from the Hadith, even though your scholars are saying it's a Sahih Hadith, you are saying it is fake. So Adeyemo has actually said that this particular Hadith is fake. That's what he's saying. It's fake. So if you are saying that this Hadith is fake, then I will ask you to provide me an Hadith narration of how the Prophet of Islam received his revelation. That's all I'll be asking from you. Just provide me an Hadith narration where Muhammad received his revelation. That's all. That's all. Okay, so I know this is shocking to a lot of folks, and coming to them for the very first time, and they're like, what is actually going on? I mean, this is unlike my prophet. This can never happen to my prophet. I understand that. You're having that emotional, bubble right there. I can understand that. But see, reality, this is actually what happened to your prophet. Maybe you like it or not. This is actually what happened to him. Okay, and if you are seeing this and you're like, no, this is not good. This cannot be from God. Then think about it. It means that angel that came to him is not from God. And if that angel that came to him at the first time is not from God, then you can be rest assured that all the things that have been revealed to him right from that particular period till the time of his death is not from God. That's actually what it means. That's actually what it means. So, folks, really want to thank you. I want to thank everyone who's been on the show with us today. For those that I could not read their comments, I'm really, really very sorry about this. I'm sorry about this. It's because of our time. We want to make sure that we stop by 2 o'clock. We don't want to extend the program except if need be. All right. So, but then we don't want to fall into the habit of extending the program. You know, it's just 1 hour, and that is actually how we want to keep it. Okay. Now, if you want to contact us, you want to send us an email, or you want to send us a message, yes, you can actually do that. You can actually send us or contact us on our social media platform right there. Okay. You can actually see us on our website. Okay, you can see us on Facebook. On Facebook is at Season Apologist. Okay, also on Instagram is at Season Apologist. Also on Twitter is at Season A. Follow us on any of this platform. Also on YouTube is at Season Apologist. And if you want to reach out to us on our WhatsApp number, that's the number to reach out to us. That's 234. If you're reaching out to us outside of Nigeria, that's plus 234-8127-999-591. That's our WhatsApp number. Also, you can check out our website. Okay, so we've been talking about our website for a while now, and we've just finished the upgrading of our website. So you can go to our website. If you have been visiting our website before, you discover now that it has a new outlook. Okay, so we're doing that because we want to make sure that when you go there, you get something of value. We have articles in the blog. We have shop for books. We have videos and all of those things. And we're going to be having more stuff, okay, right on the website. So if you have not gone to the website, make sure you visit our website, okay? And also, if you want to send us an email, and that is at info@seasonapologist.com. That is info@seasonapologist.com. All right. So those are the ways that you can actually reach out to us. Now, if you want to support us, you can actually do that on Patreon. Okay. So that's www.patreon.com. Okay. www.patreon.com/seasonedapologist. All right. So that's how you can get to support us on Patreon. You can also support us via PayPal. All right. So if you want to, it's a key way of supporting us. You can actually do that as well. Immediately after the program, the link to support on Patreon and also on PayPal we put in the description below. So thank you very much. God bless you, folks. Really want to appreciate everyone who's been on the program today. Really want to appreciate those that have been praying for us, those that have been supporting us one way or the other through your prayers and through resources. Really want to appreciate you guys. Thank you very much, and God bless you. Also want to announce to you that next week, Lord willing, on the Season Apologist Live, we're going to be having an interesting program coming up. We're going to be having a debate, all right? So I want you to stick around because we're going to be having a debate on the Season Apologist Live next week. And it's not going to be holding by 1 o'clock. Season Apologist Live next week will be holding by 2 p.m. Nigerian time. And that will be 3 p.m. Ghanaian time, all right? So we're going to be having a debate, and this debate is going to be interesting. It's going to be hot, and it's something that you don't want to miss. Again, so please keep that in mind. It's going to be 2 p.m. Nigerian time next week on the Season Apologist Live. So what it means is that we're not going to be having Season Apologist Live. The Season Apologist Live we're going to be having on that day is going to be for that debate precisely, all right? So we're not going to be presenting lecture on that day. It's going to be a debate, okay? So we want to make sure that you watch out for that debate. To get more information about the debate and some other programs that will be coming up, make sure that you subscribe again to the YouTube channel. Make sure that you like the Facebook page. Make sure that you follow us on all our social media platforms so that you can get updates on the program as they come on. So thank you very much, and God bless you again. Please keep praying for us. We need your prayer. Prayer is really very important. We need your prayer to do more of the things that the Lord wants us to do. Again, thank you very much. God bless you. Stay safe. My name is Remain Corridela Wine. Bye for now.
We love you, Lord, we love you. Father, we give you all the glory. You are my rock, my strength and my trust. In you I live and move and have my being. You are my shelter, my peace and my shield. You are my everything. You are worthy to be praised. You are my rock, my strength and my trust. In you I live and move. peace.